it is not too late to change a rhythm that isn't working or to implement something new or life-giving that will only stand for the rest of the season. Hey there, my name is Vanessa Kaiser. I'm a ranch girl turned social worker turned business leader turned entrepreneur. I love to explore all things organization, leadership, growth, inspiration, and efficiency. There's a phrase we use a lot around here called rhythmic living, which I define as the continuous cycle of assessing what season of life we're in and how we create habits, routines, and processes that support our current season. This show is for business owners, leaders, mamas, aunties, sisters, and friends who want to grow and live inspired. Welcome to the Inspiring Heights podcast. Being the end of July already, we are in the deep roots of summer. As I have mentioned a little here and there, this summer has been pretty full of learning curves and consistent pivots. Our first summer season on the homestead, learning how this garden and baby chick thing works has been a grand adventure. And it has also required a really generous dose of flexibility, grace, and, oh yeah, let me jot that down so we remember not to do that next year moments. So in case you too are needing a little pick-me-up as we find ourselves in the 8th inning of the summer season, I wanted to share the top 10 things saving my summer. Have you ever reached for a bottle of pain reliever to kick those cramps to the curb? Or an allergy pill when the pollen is flying and your nose just will not stop running? Me too, girl. Me too. But here's the thing. Allergy medicine knocks me out, and I would much rather be reaching for a natural remedy that treats the root cause and not just the symptoms. That's why I was thrilled when my friend introduced me to Earthly. It has worked wonders for me. As in, I haven't had to take ibuprofen for those stubborn cramps since I started using Earthly. Kind of worked. I knew I couldn't keep this gem to myself. Earthly Wellness is a family-owned company founded to help solve some of their daughter's health issues. Their mission is to change the way that the world views healthcare. Earthly believes that everyone should have equal access to all types of medicine and be free to choose their approach to their own health. Earthly offers a wide variety of products, from herbal remedies, my personal favorite that we use every day in our house, to cleaning products and so much more. Just head over to earthly.com/REF/Inspiring Heights to discover the natural way to wellness. Check out the show notes for a link and special coupon codes for up to 10% off Inspiring Heights listeners. Just follow the link and add the coupon code at checkout that's most appropriate for you. All this is linked for you in the show notes. First, intentional dinner swaps. At the start of the summer season, I made a conscious decision to transition our meals from things like soup and casserole and homemade bread to wraps, bowls, and salads. My original intention was to keep the fridge stocked with homemade sauces to help keep things interesting. Things like tzatziki and ranch, mint chutney, cilantro cream sauce, cheese sauce, gravy, etc. See, I am a sauce girl, and I am also the person who can eat the same thing over and over and over again, especially if there's a good sauce to go with it. Here's the truth, though. I have made sauces, to be sure, but I don't prep them on Monday in big batch form like I had originally intended. Maybe next year. As far as swapping out all these big creative dinner ideas for bowls and wraps that always consist of the same general makeup of ingredients, I will tell you, this has been a game changer. I love to cook, but like so many of us, summertime cooking is just not my favorite thing in the world. I'm hot, so I really don't love standing over a hot stove, and I don't want to heat up the house. Not to mention the fact that sometimes we are not sitting down for dinner until like 8:30 at night because it is bright and light outside and we can so easily lose track of time. So having this built-in alternative that I know is just for this season and it's not forever has made my life in the kitchen so much easier to manage. Number 2, my weekly reset list. I shared my weekly reset list on social media early in the summer, and I have to tell you, it was pretty exhaustive. It included things like restocking homemade ice cream and creating sauces for the week, chopping veggies, washing fruit, etc., etc. Here's how it's played out in real life. Basically, it has been significantly reduced to match what actually fits in this season. And I'm here to tell you, I am not one bit sorry about it. I prep veggies and fruit, I make cold brew coffee, and I create a weekly plan for both work and life. Though this list isn't as grand and beautiful as I had originally intended for it to be when the summer first started, it's actually better now because it's real and it's helpful for the moment in this season that we're in. Number 3. Staying on top of chores. As I was building this list, I almost scratched this one off because it does not happen all day, every day, to be sure. But I will tell you, in the past several weeks, I have worked hard to get more serious about this. Here are a few really specific examples. So we have a big modular couch with back cushions that aren't attached. And because it's the only piece of sitting furniture in the living room side of our dining living room area, it's a very centralized component of the room. So when the couch is tiny, the room automatically looks tidy. When the couch is messy, consequently, the room looks messy. So I've tried really hard to be intentional about resetting the couch after my quiet time. Because during my quiet time, I use a cushion as a lap desk, and I have my Bible and my journal, my planner, and my iPad, and my iced coffee all drug out on the couch in the morning. If I am intentional to fold the throw blanket and put the cushions back and store away my books that I've used, I have done a 30-second reset that makes me able to enjoy walking into my living room throughout the entire day. Also, things like putting the kitchen to bed immediately after supper, keeping up with laundry throughout the week, and making my bed each morning all serves us so well in this season when the days are long. It helps us to maintain a feeling of hominess and peace in our house, even when we don't stop running until bedtime. I will tell you that when I am feeling crunched on time, staying on top of chores is one of the first things that I can let slip through my hands. In this season, again, not perfectly, but intentionally, I have tried to hold top of mind awareness of this tendency because my house being out of sorts causes angst and stress that does not serve us well. And it also pulls us from the warm hug that we really want our home to feel like for both us and anyone who enters. Number 4, cold brew coffee. You all did not think that my top 10 list would not include coffee, did you? I am so into cold brew right now. I use my half-gallon mason jars and my cold brew coffee strainer, which I can link for you in the show notes. When I finish up a jar, the next one is ready and I am immediately on to brewing the next batch. I love my espresso machine and I adore a quad shot 16-ounce iced Americano with cream. But I also love cold brew. And in this season, it is quick, it's easy, it's accessible at any time of the day. It has been a small but mighty delight in this season. Number 5, my morning routine. I'm not sure that a morning routine has ever served me as well as it serves me in this season. We get up at 6 a.m. 4 days a week. Stay tuned for the 5th day morning routine. And I go turn on the water in the garden, go for a 30-minute walk, do chicken chores on my way back to the garden, hoe weeds out of a few rows, and then make my way inside for quiet time and coffee. Having the early morning outside time has allowed me to ensure that I am making space for both tending to our garden and moving my body. It's not as hot at 6 a.m. as other times of the day, and it is the absolute most peaceful way to start the morning. Number 6, my 20-minute get situated at work time. Because I work from home, there isn't this natural transition to work. I literally walk 10 steps, sit down, and here I am in my office, ready to go. And while my morning routine does set me up to come to work, it's not that 20-minute commute that I was used to. So I implemented a 20-minute on-ramp to work. I come to my office, I set my timer for 20 minutes. And in that time, I create a plan for my work day. I check my emails, I tidy my workspace, I grab anything that I might need to get started. I look at numbers, and I take a deep breath before the work begins. This has really helped me to have a smoother transition into my workday, as well as to feel like I'm starting my days having good direction and a good plan. It's also made those ramping up items like checking emails and creating a to-do list not feel like such a waste of time because I have made intentional time and space for them. This leads me right into number 7, which is time blocking. I promised this a few episodes ago, and I will continue to promise it is coming. I'm going to do a full episode, perhaps even a series on time blocking. Stay tuned for fall 2024. For the first time in my life, I am in a season where time blocking is actually serving me really well. In a nutshell, as I am planning my work throughout the day, I determine how much time that I think is appropriate for each of the tasks at hand. And then when I get to that task, I set the timer for that amount of time. Admittedly, there have been a lot of situations where my time calculations were way off base, and it took more time than I was actually anticipating. But I am actually tracking that, so as I continue to move forward, I have a better sense of how long it takes to do these reoccurring tasks. This has helped me to stay on track, to stay focused, to keep moving, and honestly, to have a really good picture of where my time goes throughout the workday. Number 8, Wednesday morning sleep-in days. I am a 8+ hours of sleep girly. No, you guys, honestly, I need 9 hours of sleep to function as my best self. In Jess Conley's book, Tired of Being Tired, she talks about the whole need for 8 hours of sleep and where that came from. And so I feel like we always use that as if it's scientific fact that 8 hours of sleep is the perfect amount of sleep. But it turns out that when the workday got set to 8 hours, someone said it should be 8 hours of work, 8 hours of leisure, and 8 hours of sleep to create the trifecta for a perfect day. Do you know how absolutely liberated I felt when I read that? You mean to tell me that I'm not being slothful for needing 9 hours of sleep to feel like my best self? That is the best news I have heard in a while. In the summer, we get less sleep than we do in the winter because it is really easy to be working on projects either inside or outside until 9:30 at night, again, because of the sunshine. So when that happens, it's easily after 10 p.m. before we go to bed. All of this to say, I don't get my 9 hours of sleep very often in the summertime. So on Wednesdays, we sleep in. Instead of getting up at 6, we get up at 6:45. And it is glorious. It is like a midweek treat. That boost of sleep just helps make up a little bit for the sleep that we're missing from going to bed at 10:30 p.m. Number 9, reading before bed. I have found that if I go straight from working on a project to bed, I don't sleep well. I may as well give myself the luxury of reading for 15 to 20 minutes, even when it's late, because otherwise I'll just spend that time tossing and turning anyway. Most of the time, I read fiction before bed, but this summer season, I have done quite a bit of both fiction and nonfiction. I just allow myself to read whatever sounds fun to me when I crawl into bed. I have other times designated throughout the day to read nonfiction, so if I'm feeling like my historical North Dakota fiction book at bedtime, I feel no shame for diving in. I also just want to pause a moment here and say that I love this rhythm. Hubby also reads while I read, and I love being a reading couple. Landing at number 10 is catching up on long car rides. It takes over an hour for us to get to church each week. We've just naturally fallen into the rhythm of using this time of driving to catch up with each other. It's funny how both hubby and I work from home. We spend lots of our waking hours together, and still we have things to catch up on during our car rides. In this particular season, I find that so much of our conversation throughout our days is this thing that's immediately in front of us. Like, do you think we should do this or that with the chickens? Or, oh, I see the weeds in the garden are starting to flower and we should probably get those out. Or did you notice the girl on the deck needs da-da-da-da-da-da? Car rides provide space for heart catch-ups and dreaming and vision casting, even if it's small, simple things for the upcoming week. I have come to really cherish these moments in this summer season. Friend, I hope your summer has been so wonderful. As we are looking at this last leg of the season, it is not too late to change a rhythm that isn't working or to implement something new or life-giving that will only stand for the rest of the season. Happy summer! And that's a wrap. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Do you have questions, comments, or insights on today's content? I would love to hear from you. You can DM me on Facebook or Instagram, or head over to our website, inspiringheights.org, and click on the Contact Us form. I will link all those locations here in the show notes. P.S. If you haven't already, I would love for you to leave a 5-star rating and a quick review of the podcast. This helps get our content in the hands of new listeners. Don't forget to sign up for the newsletter and follow us on social media for rhythmic doses of inspiration. All right, friends, take a deep breath and be inspired where your feet are. Bye for now.